Issuing debt securities or bonds is just one of the various methods that businesses, municipalities, and other entities can use to raise additional capital. A bond can be thought of as an IOU, as the issuer is borrowing your money with the promise of returning it to you at a later date, typically with interest. In other words, the issuer is willing to pay you for the privilege to use your money, much as you do when you take out a loan from a bank. Unlike stockholders, bondholders do not have share in the ownership of the issuing entity, nor do they have voting rights in regard to its management. Rather, when you buy a bond, you act as a lender, like a bank. And just as a lender looks at your records and checks your credit score before issuing you a loan, it is prudent to research the financial history of the issuer and examine its credit rating prior to investing. Now that you have a basic understanding of what debt securities are, let's take a look at some of their key characteristics. When you buy a bond, the amount that you lend and are later repaid is referred to as the par value or face value. Most bonds have a par value of $1,000. As mentioned before, as a bondholder, you will generally receive interest from the issuer, which is typically paid by the issuer semi-annually for the life of the bond. The total amount of annual interest is referred to as the coupon and is generally expressed as a percentage of the par value. For instance, a bond with a par value of $1,000 and a 2% coupon will pay $20 in interest per year, or $10 every 6 months. Normally, the interest rate is closely tied to the apparent default risk of the issuer, or its inability to fulfill its payment obligations in the future. It is also impacted by the time frame of the security, or how long your money will be tied down if the bond is held to its maturity. So bonds with higher interest rates are either likely considered to be more risky or have a longer lifespan, or maybe even a combination of both. Price and yield are two more terms to be familiar with. When you buy a bond, you may be able to purchase it at par, or you may have to purchase it at a premium for a current market price above the par value, or at a discount, a price below par. The current yield represents the return on investment you can expect from a particular bond if held for a year, and is calculated by dividing the bond's coupon payment by its current market price. There is an inverse relationship between a bond's price and its yield, so higher prices are associated with lower yields and vice versa. Another feature bonds have is a maturity date. This is the day that the issuer plans to return the principal or initial investment to the investor. Some bonds, however, may have call privileges, which allow the issuer to return the principal investment prior to the original maturity date. Such provisions are stated in a bond's prospectus, a document outlining the detail of the issue. This potential reduction of income due to a call is referred to as call risk. As with most securities, there are several additional risks involved with bond investing. As mentioned before, default risk is the threat of losing your investment if the issuing entity becomes unable to repay its debt obligations. Interest rate risk is the chance that interest rates may fluctuate in favorability over the term of the bond. This is related to reinvestment risk in that a poor interest rate environment at maturity may make reinvesting less rewarding. In addition to the inherent risks, there may also be unique benefits realized when investing in bonds. Some municipal bonds, for example, have special tax considerations. It is important to weigh these risks and benefits and consider your risk tolerance, financial situation, and liquidity needs when determining which investments are right for you. To learn more about this and other investment topics, subscribe to the Zions Direct YouTube channel.